What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Everyday Tech. I'm back with another one. So earlier I reviewed the Google Pixel 9 Pro Fold. Hate that name, but it got me thinking about foldables in general, and especially the Google Pixel Fold and how much it's advanced in only 2 generations. So what I did was I went and I dug out my original OG Pixel Fold and I popped my work sim in there and I began to use it for roughly a month and a half. I think I got close to 2 months using it as my work device, just to see how it's changed and how it's grown and what about it that I liked and what about it that I'm happy has changed and evolved. So I got thoughts and I'm willing to share them with you. I'm about ready to share them with you after an extensive re-review process. So let's stop wasting time and dive right in. Now, first off, we're gonna talk about the thing that I love the most from the Pixel Fold, and that is its amazing passport style design. Now, the first thing you'll notice is it's very compact. It's actually a 5.8-inch screen when it's not folded, which gives it a screen size similar to that of, let's say, like an iPhone 11, I wanna say, or iPhone 10, 10s, but it's wide enough so that the keyboard doesn't feel cramped. Now, this was a much welcome change, especially compared to some of its competition with much narrower and taller screens. I absolutely loved it, and it made using the foldable as a regular phone extremely simple and extremely pleasant to use, no problem. Now, when you open it up, you get yourself a nice 7.6-inch screen that I gotta say was still very, very good. It wasn't the best foldable screen out there, as it was a little bit soft, the crease was very noticeable, and it just was highly reflective, which doesn't work when you live someplace like I do in sunny Florida. But the thing I did like about it was 120 hertz, super smooth, very big, and once again, it had that passport style design. It was refreshing. Everything else was larger, and this one felt compact. Now, in a sense, it felt compact because one issue I did have was the all-around thickness. Like, it's a thick phone. I'm talking 2 C's. It's a little chunky. Using it now in 2025, definitely noticeable, especially when you compare it to the super thin Pixel 9 Pro Fold. But besides the screen, I gotta say the design was superb. And one thing I said when I did my original review for this was that this level of design and quality is going to set the precedent for the Pixel 9 series. And looking back on it, I was 100% correct. This is the first Pixel device that felt like a super premium build. Its heft did make it feel like something worth holding in your hand. Had a beautiful matte finish, beautiful aluminum rails. It was just put together in a way that screamed durability and reliability. Now, the camera visor wasn't the same as you would got on Pixels of that time, but it still fit the design language and still kept that Pixel characteristic. And speaking of that camera, I do gotta say, this is one of the points that does show its age. You see, the camera for foldable standards is pretty good. It's really good, especially when you're in a brightly lit area or daylight. Its computational photography does a lot of heavy lifting to make the pictures look very nice, very contrasty, gives it great dynamic range. The problem is when you creep into low light situations, that's when it all falls apart. You're gonna notice a lot of noise and a lot of softness, especially the videos. It just leaves a lot to be desired, and it is just one of those things that comes with a smaller sensor. The Pixel 9 Pro Fold was also subject to similar issues in my experience. Another thing that hasn't aged well was the processor. You see, when this came out, it was running Tensor's G2 processor, and within 4 to 5 months, that was outdated because the G3 was released on the Pixel 8 and 8 Pro. And now in 2025, I am noticing the inefficiencies a lot more. I'm noticing the thermals I remember them being kind of bad, but now I'm definitely noticing them being bad. And you gotta remember, this is my work device. I don't put as much pressure on this as I do my main device. And this thing gets significantly warmer way more often. Not only that, but running games, well, it does play them well. If you start pulling up the graphics or the frame rates higher, you'll run into issues, especially frame dips and just an inability to play it at a higher level like you can on the Tensor G4. Another weakness of the processor, especially due to the thermals, is the battery life. I find myself not being able to rely on this battery. Despite this being a secondary device in my hand, I still found myself having a bit of battery anxiety. I found myself charging it in the middle of the day or closer to the end of the day where the Pixel 9 Pro Fold can last me all day. The Pixel 9 Pro definitely lasts me all day. The G2 processor just isn't efficient, and while it was slightly noticeable back then, 2025 with the Tensor G4 makes it that much more of an issue. So all in all, what's my verdict? Well, how do I feel about this? Now, despite those shortcomings, I really enjoyed this. I thoroughly enjoyed this as my work device. I don't know if I would enjoy it as much as my only device, but as a secondary device, it's great. Especially when you think about the price. You see, back then and especially now, I really couldn't and wouldn't recommend paying full price for it. But you can get this thing for roughly $500. So if you're interested in a foldable and you want to try one out, but you don't want to spend new foldable money, this is a great option. If you want a device that's great for work and productivity, this is a great option. Those dual screens are fantastic for checking emails and doing like your work chat, your work calls all at the same time, having them side by side. That's how I use it a lot. This is great for people who either want to try Pixel folds or try foldable in general, or need something as a backup, a secondary, or a great device for work. You know what else? If you want to run emulators on it and you want to play some retro games, this actually still does that very well. Because sometimes when I'm supposed to be working, I'm sitting there playing like old school SNES Mario Kart, but I digress. So anyway, that's kind of how my experience has been. It's been very pleasant despite its shortcomings, but the Pixel 9 Pro Fold is a definite upgrade across the board. It's amazing what Google did in 2 generations. So let me know what you guys think. Are you still using your OG Pixel Fold? What do you want to see out of their 3rd iteration if it comes out this year? And just what was your experience all in all? Are you even using foldables? Let me know in the comments. And once again, thanks for letting me talk tech, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.